bugs on the window after our 4-hour drive from Kingsford, Michigan, all the way to Trego, Wisconsin. A few miles north of Spooner, Wisconsin. Check out the old rail cars. Anyway, my wife and I are here for an overnight train ride. I'll try to go slow. Ooh, slow. Overnight train ride. Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad. It's a 4-hour train ride, dinner on board, and then we'll be sleeping on the train. 3.5, 4-hour ride, somewhere in there. Anyway, we're just arriving now. Expect a pretty cool video. I guess we'll pull right up to the building up there. Can't really check it yet though, right? It says open.
The depot is, yes.
Yeah, just walk in there and go explore. Yeah, but what about that thing? What about that thing? What about that sun? Jeepers creepers. Yeah, we'll go park over here and take a walk inside. Half hour before check-in. Almost like a hotel or something. This wasn't planned at all. Home of the world famous Mark Train Zephyr. Somebody I was just talking to said the Lieutenant Governor of Wisconsin was just here yesterday. They got the train looking all nice and spiffy, but that's the one we're riding on. I'll be boarding here in a little while. Having dinner on board should be pretty. Oh, I could spend a few hours exploring, I think. Probably don't want to get kicked out though. Boarding time, and we're first. Do a quick brake inspection. I'm just kidding. Oh, first class sleeper deluxe. Hey, this is ours. Did he say up and to the left or up and to the right? He did say it to the left. I thought he said to the right. Well, ND.
There we go.
Conductor's following us. ND1. Hey.
ND1.
ND1.
Perfect.
Nothing too fancy. That is cool. Oh. I mean, weirdly enough, there's a shower. I don't know if I can squeeze through this little hole, but, you know. Oh, wait, the other door opens. That's good to know. Yeah.
Alright, we have 12. You gonna take that? I guess.
Take a walk this way a little bit and talk while the music is playing so we don't get a copyright strike. But this is going into the dining car. Ooh, it smells really good in here. Smells so good.
And it's hummus infused with avocado.
Ooh, your favorite.
Day until they sell it or whatnot. But yeah, this is the beginning of it. This goes all the way up to
Wow, they got them packed in there.
I gotta say, it's a flying train.
My wife made me come and get a jacket. I'm like, nah, I got to go all the way back and see.
Yeah, for sure.
I figured that's what you're doing back here.
Yep.
Because if the engineer's up front, the conductor's got to be in the back.
Yep. At least until we hopefully get some loops in.
Well, these rails are better than the ones I film.
Depending the section that it is in.
Close her up.
So, yeah. What's your channel's name?
It's under my own name.
Okay.
Jason Asselin.
Okay.
Jason, so if you put in Jason and put in ASS, I swear it'll pop up.
Okay.
You just do what, a visual search or a visual check and nothing's crossed the track?
Yep,
Or you
nothing
open the
cross
door, too?
tracks. Also, we do basically like a track inspection as we're going, and then just you have to have about 20 seconds for crossings and stuff. So
Get this crossing and then I'll leave you alone.
no worries.
I doubt many people come back here when you're going in reverse.
It's hit and miss. Sometimes I get people all the time, and then I'll go a couple weeks and nobody comes.
Huh. Yeah, I was like, where's the switch around point where they're going to pull the locomotive back around?
Yeah. $13.87, 4 to the crossing, 4. $3 to the crossing, 3. $2 to go, 2. 1 and clear.
Okay. Anyway, I ran back to get my wife a jacket. So she's probably wondering where I went to, because I thought it'd be kind of cool to ride in the back as we go in reverse. Cool, hey? I love this car. I watched the video when they lifted the crane, or lifted on the tracks.
Oh yeah, we haven't done. I don't think we've done any changes to it at all.
It looks almost like it original,
It's supposed to be its original, I think.
right? The
I'm
pic,
sure if you take it.
the pictures are gone that were up here. Huh.
I don't have anything to hide because it's all put away already.
Well, it's all nice and clean now. You wouldn't think everything would be this nice on a train, but here you go.
Sure is.
Fancy. That's a nicer stove than I have.
It sure is pretty fancy. Eh?
Yeah.
No fryers, no grease fires.
Right? Although that'd be fun. If you guys go by, you're like, ooh, what are they cooking? I can smell it. They got chicken tonight. Right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Cool little private dining cars. I guess some people just don't want to be out with everybody else, but anyway, we're coming out here to the old mail car built in 1914. If I can figure out how to open the door. There we go. Oh, isn't that cool? Just in time to see a spur going off. Pretty cool. Let's keep going. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Food wasn't too bad, Gary. It was actually pretty good. I had the prime rib. It was excellent. Austin's between two videos, are you? Anyway, look at that baby right there. Oh, that's pretty bouncy, hey? And how about that? And wouldn't you know, we're about to go right by it. You guys are in for a little surprise, huh? Look at that. You see it? Anyway, I'm going to do my best to see if we can get inside of this. As I understand, the motor is, well, it's not even in. Morning, but then there's nobody to talk to about what we're looking at, you know. I even see an old steamer right there too.
Yes.
I just noticed that.
This is one of the newest pieces on property. That came from Barnum, Minnesota, and we brought that thing over here about a year ago. And the fairgrounds in Barnum owned it, and they had it in a building, and they wanted to make use of the building for other things. And word had gotten around that they wanted it gone, and it started turning into, we want it gone and we don't care if it goes out in one pieces or many. And so we reached out to them and said, I understand you have a steam locomotive you would like to move. And they said, yes, would you like it? So we came over and looked.
Scrap metal, they were thinking, huh?
Well, nobody really wants to scrap a steam locomotive in this day and age, and we're amongst the people who really don't want to see that happen.
No.
So we, went over, looked at it. It's actually in much better shape than you might expect looking at it. when you get
That's a
down,
big one too.
it's all right. It's medium sized.
I mean,
It's big enough.
They got one up in Lake Linden, Michigan, up in the Keweenaw.
That's like I think a 2-foot locomotive.
Yeah,
That's
it's
tiny.
smaller. Yeah.
So we, pulled it out of the building it was in. We went up and built the panel track, pulled it out, disassembled it, and lifted it and brought it over here.
I mean, it is pretty clean.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, where
Even
this
the
thing-
bird nest.
Oh yeah, it's were it ever to be rebuilt, we'd have to tear it all the way down to the boiler and ultrasound it and retube it and make sure everything was good.
I love the old wood siding on the sides there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So this is the running gear. This the running gear weighed I think 115,000 pounds. It was so heavy that the trailer that the trucking company we called to take with when the cranes gave them a weight estimate, it's like, oh no, I can't do that. They had to bring in like a 20 axle specialty trailer to handle it. So this came week and a half later.
Yeah, that's the cool thing there, though. How much for the motor? 25 grand, they said.
Oh gosh. Well, actually, this has a so this is going to get the motor out of a switcher. I can actually show you that a little later. So we have all of the parts to finish this. The biggest thing we need to do is install the motor, basically.
So what? 4 cars and then 5 cars, and one has the motor.
Yeah. So the power plant would be at the very front. When it was new, the section right behind where that elevated part is, there was a railway post office section. Then the baggage car. This middle car here is actually not original to the train. That one came out of the Pioneer Zephyr, which is down at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. So when the Pioneer Zephyr went to the museum, they didn't have room for it, so the Burlington, who owned the train at the time, stuck this in with the Mark Twain Zephyr, and it's been part of it ever since.
I just realized where the axles were on these.
Yeah, these are articulated cars.
The only time I've ever seen the articulating was on Big Boy. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we've rebuilt the interiors of all of them. So like, there's a movie theater in the old baggage or mail section. There's a history display in the baggage car. This is a like a tavern lounge car. There's a brand new custom kitchen and 48 seats in the dining car back there, and then there's a parlor lounge in the end.
And that's what the lieutenant governor didn't see yesterday, huh?
No, she missed out. I mean, we got it all cleaned up too. It was really nice.
The Milwaukee Road.
It's a lie. It's a Sioux Line caboose. It's just painted Milwaukee, but it looks cool. We actually have quite a bit of Milwaukee Road equipment on property besides that, because the power car tonight is a Milwaukee Road car. Our Santa car for our Santa Pizza trains is an old Milwaukee Road car. And we've got 2 old work cars that are down in the field that are old Milwaukee Road, and we have a coach that was actually part of a restaurant in Minnesota and then wound up in somebody's backyard for 30 years that we rescued.
Timmy Oswell, chief engineer.
Tiny Oswald.
Tiny.
Oswald was one of the main movers and shakers in Barnum, who got that thing on display. If you go on YouTube, you can actually see a video of them pulling it into the fairgrounds back in like 66 or so with a tractor. So.
Need some of those old cars with the
Pump cars?
pump cars.
We
They can send them north.
We do a lot of things with an old-fashioned bend, but we don't do that.
I think as a kid, that's something you always dream about. Oh, how cool would that be?
Yeah, and then you have to do it up a hill.
Right? Yeah.
Most of those things still have wood blocks for brakes.
I noticed most of our trip, most of our trip was uphill from here.
It varies. So you go
felt
down,
like it.
You go down into VZ and then come out of it again. It's roughly uphill. So.
That's the one you guys had on that video, hey?
Yep, that actually came from a grain elevator after its time with Wisconsin and Southern. It's actually in really good shape. Just needs a little bit of electrical work and I think either a water or an oil pump.
Ooh, mow equipment.
Yes, lots. This is a snow fighter. It also doubles as a ballast regulator. This is a TR10. This is a tie inserter and puller. It's a very, very handy machine. You can do several hundred ties in a day with that if you get it set up ahead of time.
I know somebody that could use that right now.
This is a tie crane. This is a ballast regulator, so you can basically spread out ballast along the right of way. We've got some parts equipment. And this is the thing that I would really like to have operational, but isn't yet. This is a Mark III production tamper. So this thing's got a laser sight up on the front, and then there's a matching reader right in front of the cab, and it's got a computer in it. So what it does is as it goes down the tracks, it will actually read all of the cross level and dips and drops. And once you've completed that section, you can go back to the beginning. It will actually grab the rail, lift it, tamp it, and align it. You can actually move rail up to 8 inches either direction with a single pass on this.
That's
thing.
pretty cool. Plus the cool
Unfortunately,
crane.
None of us here have experience in running the thing, so that's one of the things that we're really looking forward to figuring out, because if this thing gets running, that railroad would be as smooth as glass.
Right? Wow. And of course the crane here, I'll just peep in. We don't have to go in there. I watched a YouTube video for that one. You guys can...
Yeah, so this is our 250 industrial brown hoist crane.
Yeah, when I was watching the video, I was trying to figure out, well, they can only lift one side of a rail car if they were going to, like a derailment. You couldn't necessarily...
No, and that's usually what they do is they'd pick it up and scoot it over, and then they'd scoot the other side over. There are spreader bars in there that you can use to hook onto either side of a car.
Right.
Whenever we've had equipment come in here, it almost always comes by truck. We'll use this. We have another 100-ton capacity crane just right by the driveway there. So we've got, you can either sling under the coupler, or we actually have hooks that will clamp to the side of the frame, and you can just lift them right up off the truck, right onto their truck.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Some years we've done that, 4 or 5 times. We have this stuff come in as often as we do. So this thing is really cool to watch. It's really fun to work with too, even if I'm just doing it from the ground most of the time.
Right. Wild.
Yeah.
And that is a huge motor.
Yeah, that's actually a very small motor.
Oh.
That's a 6-cylinder engine block. So that's what goes in like one of those little SW1 switch engines. And something that size is what's going to wind up in the Zephyr. So it originally had an 8-cylinder block. This is a V6. So
wow.
It's a little taller. It will basically fit in the same envelope, but we couldn't use any of the existing mounts. We'll have to do a new one for it. So
sweet. Yeah, the railroad I'm filming with, they actually had a derailment last Tuesday. They had put 4 loaded center beams on the ground and 1 locomotive. And when I left yesterday, they still hadn't got the locomotive back on, and it's in the swamp, so they can't.
Oh, lovely.
It's in the swamp. Right now there's a weight restriction. You can't take no cranes north of US 2, which that's where that is. So not even Halter can go rescue them.
That's a bad time.
It's 4 days on, 5 days off. Come on. And there's the train we'll be sleeping on tonight.
Yep.
Me and my wife, not me and this guy.
No, I go home.
Pretty
like
cool.
we said, we kind of have a plethora of work equipment around here. This little thing here is a pike crane. Doesn't have a huge lifting capacity. And this locomotive, the 1280, the one that's missing its hood right up here, that's the parts donor for the Zephyr up there. So its motor, its generator, its air compressor will all wind up inside the Zephyr.
Scrap parts.
Well, actually, we're not going to scrap any of this. Once we take all the usable components on it, we still have the hood over on the other side. We'll reassemble it, and probably.
Early Sunday morning from Spooner, Wisconsin. The railroad told me about this roundhouse over here in Spooner that the city owns. Funny story. The railroad does not have a Y to turn around any of their locomotives. And upon discussing this old, look at that, number 28, 27, 26. This old roundhouse for the railroad still sits here. The turntable still exists. And the railroad would love to put some money into this and get it moving again. Very cool. Yeah, the guy from the railroad said if the city ever approached them and asked if they wanted to invest money to rebuild this so they could use it, 100% the railroad would. That's pretty neat. Right in front of the old roundhouse in Spooner. Smith Rapids Bridge. Right off of Highway 70. Had to take this quick detour. I don't think I've ever seen a covered bridge before. $1991. So it's actually pretty new. That's pretty cool.
Oh crap. I didn't see that I wasn't paying attention. I was looking up and this is uneven.
Oh,
This,
yeah.
and I almost twisted my ankle. Very close to twisting my ankle.
And what do we got hanging up there?
Is that mistletoe? It's mistletoe.
Oh, well.
Mistletoe.
Mwah. That's pretty cool.